Now, a lot of people have this like weird energy surrounding around ego, right? When people hear ego, they freak out. Everyone's trying to kill their ego, but that's impossible. Like, when you truly understand what the ego is, you can't kill your ego, right? And before I can get into the ego, I have to take a couple steps back and first address the fact that unity, right? Oneness, in the sense that there is truly one consciousness that, in a sense, has manifested itself through various channels. But at the end of the day, there is only one frequency, right? One being. And that oneness that exists within all things, right, is referenced to as God, as spirit, as the universe, as energy, etc. We are not God per se, right? But we are extensions of it, right? One of the examples I like to use is kind of the body of water analogy, right? Which explains that we, in a sense, are but droplets from this big body of water, in the sense that God is like the ocean, right? And then our souls are like droplets that were taken from that ocean. It's of value to understand that the energy of the soul, in a sense, derives from divinity, from God particleness, right? So it's a very high vibrational energy. And our soul, in a sense, operates a couple of octaves above the physical and the astral plane, right? Just because of the substance that it is composed of. When I say substance and I say vibration, you can kind of think of it as certain things are, their atomic, their atoms, right, are vibrating at a certain speed. Like the higher the dimension, quote unquote, the faster that thing is vibrating. And that's why it's not in our ability or capacity to perceive certain things, at least not with our physical eyes. The infiniteness, the eternalness that is God, right, in a sense broke itself into pieces. And that infinite consciousness or infinite oneness, in a sense, is the ego. And so bear with me here, because I'm about to break it down for you guys. And so when we think of the ego, we in a sense think of the I am, right? We think of the I more specifically. We think of the me, we think of the self. And truly there is one self, one me, one I. And so to kind of give another example, we in a sense have two identities that we identify with on a day-to-day basis. The first identity is kind of dealing with just who we are, right? We kind of walk around and we have this feeling and this idea of being a person, right? Like me being me, right? Me being Soleil, right? Etc. In the sense of like, even when I travel in time through my mind and visit memories, there's this continual vibe of me being me, you feel what I'm saying? So there's this infinite energy of me waking up tomorrow and feeling like I'm me, and I'm not, you know, my for example, friend, my sibling, my father, but I'm me, uniquely distinct me, you feel what I'm saying? But then there is another aspect of our identification that's kind of always changing, right? And that aspect of our identification, our identity that's continuously changing and shifting, is like our soul. This aspect of us that we identify with is very much connected to our emotions and our feelings, right? We identify both with just who we are, in like just our identity, like just me being me, but simultaneously we also identify with the different various emotions that we go through and everything like that. And so that aspect of us, that's just like the observer, that's not like subjective, but it just observes. Even when we're going through emotions and we're going through feelings, we can observe ourselves going through that experience, right? And so that energy that is observing is kind of like that aspect of us that's like the ego. And the thing about the ego is it never changes. It remains the same always. Like, you will always be you, no matter what you go through. And like, your mind might change, right? Your emotions might change, but there's this aspect of you that never changes. This aspect of you that's always going to be you, if that makes sense. Now that I broke that down, another way you can kind of look at it is frequency, vibration, and energy. Like the ego, in a sense, is the frequency of the specific droplet of water that you came from, in the sense that when it comes to the vast sea, right, different areas of the ocean, in a sense, carry different organisms, right? They carry different plant lives, different animals, etc. That may not exist in different regions of the ocean. Likewise, like according to quote unquote the different aspect or God particle portion that you came from, you kind of have a unique vibration and a unique energy. So yeah, that aspect of us that's infinitely us, that's like has this capacity, in a sense, to just observe, is like that ego aspect of us. And there is a divinity about ego, you feel what I'm saying? Like, the ego is very divine, of course, but there are alter egos, right? Perceptions and viewpoints that we think we have to be, that we think we have to feel because of our experiences in society. Now that you can kill, right? That's the false self. Yeah, you can go ahead and end that. But other than that, though, what I'm trying to point at is, okay, so this is what we've discussed. We've discussed the ego, which is the you that never changes. It's just infinitely you. Then we have the soul, which could come in various different ways, right? You could be you, but then you can also be a wife, a husband, a teacher, a coach. You can wear many different many different hats. You feel me? I hope that makes sense. And so that's what the soul does. It not only goes through experiences and reacts and responds to those experiences, but it also organizes those experiences as states of consciousnesses currently within our astral body, right, which is the fourth dimensional body, which can also be likened to the mind, you can say, in the sense that our mind in of itself is also like a vessel or a body that the soul is utilizing. And so because hold on, let me take a couple of steps back. And so our soul has various different experiences, and then it organizes those different experiences into our light body, our astral body, or our mind, right? Many different names for the same thing. The more experiences the soul has, And the more, and according to the types of experiences, the more it'll attract to itself. And the more it's able to attract to itself, the more it could experience. And so it's kind of a loop that helps the soul grow and expand and expand. And so there was a point in the soul's journey where it was, you can say, a newling, right? It had very little experience, and so the soul did have to start somewhere, and it did have to go through rather simple experiences. And the more experiences it had, those experiences built a foundation for it to be able to handle more and greater things. And so I won't get too deep into the progressive forms the soul encompasses. I do also want to keep this video short and just focus on the soul, the ego, the mind, and the body. Because the soul in of itself is a vibration, a feeling, an experience, essentially a consciousness, right? So even when you are, for instance, astral projecting, you're not per se projecting with your soul, but you're more so projecting through your astral body, right? And there are various bodies, right? There are physical bodies that we see around us, there are spiritual bodies, and there are astral bodies, there are even celestial bodies, you feel what I'm saying? All types of bodies. And the soul, in a sense, utilizes them to operate. It had to go through experiences to build and develop itself, to like manifest its dormant attributes and qualities. Because we all, within our time of manifesting into existence, had a purpose to fulfill. There was a reason for our incarnation into existence. And so the soul, in order to fulfill and to become, right, because its purpose was kind of an idea, perception, right? Just like physically, it starts with an idea, then you got to put in the work, you got to go through the experiences in order for you to like materialize it, tangibly experience it, right? And so through various life forms, and when I say life forms, don't mistake it with, I mean, yeah, lifetimes too, but not per se human reincarnation, but encompassing existence as a whole, and every single thing within existence being a vessel or a vehicle for the soul to utilize for its advantage, you know, to expand into something greater. From mineral life forms, plant life forms, amoebas, right? Simple amoeba life forms, simple bacteria, simple one-cell organisms, animals, and human life forms, right? And that's just the earth realm, right? Because there are various worlds, some spiritual, some electromagnetic, some astral, and you know, even the material realm. There is a vast amount of life that exists beyond physicalness, and physical life is but one step, an important step towards the soul's evolution into its greater expression, you feel what I'm saying, or into its awakening those attributes and qualities that it will later utilize to fulfill its purpose on a universal scale. The soul experiences, it observes, it more so feels and thinks, right? It's the feeler and the thinker. You can say the ego is more of the observer. And so in order for it to feel and in order for it to think, it in a sense relies on bodies. Physical bodies, spiritual bodies, astral bodies, mental bodies, all forms of bodies. You feel me? Vibration and frequency. You can think of the ego as like the frequency, right? And then you can think of the soul as the vibration. And then you can think of the body as energy. You feel what I'm saying? Different expressions of energy. But yeah, it's pretty much that. But other than that, you guys, if anyone is interested in the free discovery session, right, where we kind of get into the energetic, blueprints, and we get into mental alchemy and esoteric psychology, and just what those practices are and why they are of great value to your journey, then definitely feel free to hit me up, and we can schedule a time to do that free session. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, you feel what I'm saying? I'll leave it at that. And other than that, I hope that you guys have a beautiful, beautiful, lovely rest of your day, night, whenever you catch this. Peace.